Putting my differential back together. I have my differential in the freezer over there. That's a Wavetrac, and I'm going to be baking the bearing races and then dropping them onto the differential to 250 degrees. It's a heated bearing, and my guess is it's already cool to the touch. So you really have no time to drop that sucker on there. It's very quick. When installing the ring gear, if you use new bolts, BMW has a torque angle guide for the different size bolts depending on which diff you're rebuilding. I'm reusing my old bolts, and so what I'll do with these is I just put red Loctite on them and then I torque them to 110 foot-pounds. Alright, the ring gear is on. I've torqued all these bolts. Putting the differential into the case can be pretty difficult for some people. I've seen some people grind off the case to get this to fit, but I don't think that that's necessary. So I'll show you how to wiggle this thing in. So the first part that goes in is this side. See where the gear teeth are? Put that side into the diff first and get that bearing race to go into where the bearing is going to go. Put that into the diff first. Okay, so it's coming in like this. So see, we have a very tiny window of clearance here. We have to turn the diff and push it in as we go in. Alright, so that is how you do it. I make it look super easy, but I've seen people really struggle with that. So this bearing is going to go in. You can see on this side you have a plastic ring. That side does not go into the diff, that is facing out. This side will contact the race perfectly, and that's the side we're going to put in. Throw this guy in there, should slide in. There we go. Once you tap it in far enough, you'll see where the shim should go. Okay, we're going to put the clip in. Kind of tap around the ring and then it will snap into place. So that is our passenger side clip. Let's flip it around and do the driver's side now, and then we're going to measure the backlash on the differential. There we go, popped right in. So let's take a look at the differential that we have assembled. This is our Wavetrac differential. Wavetrac limited slip, 3.64 gears. Now we have to measure the backlash. For the backlash, we need to hold this front in place and then rotate the gear set, and I'll use an axle to do that. Alright, so we have a dial indicator set up here. This one goes down to thousandths of an inch, and we're looking for a 2/1000ths of an inch to 5/1000ths of an inch backlash, and so you'll see this needle swing back and forth. I measured it at 3/1000ths of an inch. So 3/1000ths of an inch is good because we're right in the middle of BMW's spec. So again, I'm turning this back and forth, and it's measuring the backlash on the gear. You'll see the needle jump back and forth between 0 and 3/1000ths of an inch. I didn't have to make any changes to the shims. Now if this was off, if this was greater than or less than the spec, I would have to change those little clips that I had in the differential. And that's what sucks about the BMW differentials, is those clips. You can buy kits online, and I think the kits are $200 for a set of clips. So this differential is good to go. I have a seal driving kit, but one of the problems with these seals is that they have this rubber thing on here, so if I use a flat seal driver, it doesn't really work. So what I actually use is an oil filter wrench. This is off a Mercedes, but this fits it perfectly, and I can go ahead and press my seal in. And when we drive it in, it goes in pretty deep, so you have to get it, you know, all the way until it stops. Should look like that when it's all the way seated. So that's it. Before I insert my axles, I will put some oil on this lip. I'm using this gasket maker called The Right Stuff. Now I'm going to put the cover on, and I'm going to torque it down to 45 Newton meters, which is about 33 foot-pounds of torque. The cover goes on like this. That's it. Next step is to remove this 14 millimeter Allen head port and fill it up with my diff fluid. Filling up the differential with Motul 7590 gear 300. This is not a limited slip oil, and that's because we have a mechanical diff in there. You do not put a limited slip additive in it. Very important with the Wavetrac. Is it leaking out now? I think it's leaking out, yeah. So that's full. Okay, here's a new diff. You can see it says 364. Here's a diff that just came out. It's a 315. I swapped over the Guibo, and then we're just gonna bolt it up inside the car. Here's what it looks like without anything in there. Very easy to swap this out.